ASMR, ASMR, ASMAH. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Shh. You don't hear a thing, do you? The rivals have dispersed. They have disintegrated, disappeared, discombobulated. Why? Because we won. Because we won, guys. We took the game by the scruff of the neck and we won. That's what we did. We won. This is a perfect day at the office. 12:30 kickoff. Klopp used to complain about it all the time after international break. Why always me? Away at Burnley, 12:30, winter period. Potential for wind and rain and snow. Rotated team, plenty of resting. People didn't like the lineup. I really didn't want to see the centre-back combination without Josh Achampong. There was no Fofana on the bench. Reece James, precaution, taken off 45 minutes. Badiashile given 45 too. Fantastic from Maresca to rotate the two. No Esteval, no Palmer stub toe. No Caicedo for the full 90 minutes. No Garnacho full 90 minutes. Everybody rested, recuperated, rejuvenated for the week coming up against Barcelona and Arsenal. You cannot ask for much more than that. You cannot ask for much more than that. Yes, the performance wasn't glitz and glamour. Yes, it wasn't fluid and flexy. But job done. Job done. Clean sheet. Third clean sheet in the Premier League in a row. And really limited, very limited chances for Burnley. They didn't have any massive chances. Their XG was like 0.46. Every save that Sanchez made was pretty much a claim and a cross and a catch. CCC. We cannot complain. Guys, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Yes, there's things to improve. Yes, there's things to work on. But we have to play well against Barcelona. We have to play well against Arsenal. We won't be able to just go through the motions or have a hiccup. We have to play great to win those games. So the performances are coming. Today was not about the performance. Today was about the result and about doing it in a professional manner. And I think we did that. So, first of all, man of the match, Santos. Shout Santos. You know I got stocks in Santos. You know that Santos I rate incredibly highly, and this is why. Yes, we heard Maresca say he can play the 8. Yes, we heard Maresca say he's the replacement for Enzo Fernandez. But today, when Caicedo needed a rest after playing back-to-back games for his country, Santos had to step in with no Lavia, no Asuguos, and he had to start in that central midfield in the 6, and he did a fucking fantastic job. This guy was everywhere today. Deservedly so, got man of the match. He was cleaning up all the crap in the midfield. Sometimes in the first 10-15, isolated and alone. He was winning the tackles. He was making interceptions on the counter press to lead to the Neto chance to hit the post in the second half. He's making the recovery runs to make the last-ditch blocks and defending for the attacking plays that Burnley are trying to create. This guy was everywhere. Absolutely fantastic performance. And that is a young midfielder that is growing, developing, improving, and will be here for many years to come. And he's already spoken about how he's learning and developing behind the likes of Enzo and Caicedo. This is why I love our midfield. Because even with two injuries in the midfield out of 5, we still have an option like that to come in whilst resting Caicedo for Barcelona and Arsenal for 90 minutes today. He didn't touch the pitch. And by the way, I have to say, you have to give credit to Maresca. Now, he's taken a risk today. We didn't see Josh, which I was shocked. Maybe Fofana was rested for Barcelona. I don't know. He wasn't in the squad. But maybe Josh will play a part against Barca. Maybe he'll play a part against Arsenal. I thought he should have started today with Chalobah or with Tosin or whatever, because I think he, in form, in terms of performance this season, deserves to be there. But he wasn't. Tosin was great today. Tosin won all of his aerial duels. I think he won all of his ground duels. Tosin was fantastic in terms of his defending. He didn't really put a foot wrong that I could think of. Chalobah, you know? So he took a risk. He took a risk by taking Reece James off at 45 minutes and bringing on Badiashile for his 45 minutes. And he rested, rotated, looked after, replenished, wanted to make sure that everyone was up to match speed for Barcelona. That was a risk. To be 1-0 up in the 85th minute and not bring on Caicedo and bring on Gusto instead, who I didn't really want to see in a left midfield position in the left 8. because I've already come to terms with the right back, the right 8, the right 10, because they'll do shuttle bus runs and overlap and underlap. But I didn't see a left 8, and he did give the ball away for a few minutes after coming on. Didn't like it, but he wanted to pack the midfield, and he didn't want to bring on Caicedo. He didn't want to bring on Caicedo. He didn't want to bring on Esteval. He didn't bring on Garnacho. He only gave James 45. He only gave Badiashile 45. This was a great game for the week coming up, because now we have a great start to the week. We have no excuses in terms of, oh, we're going into an Arsenal game that's not as important because we bottled it against Burnley. We're going into a game against Barcelona with a bad result, so the confidence is low. We are going in with the best possible preparation we possibly could have got. We've got players that have been rested, players that have been brought up to a bit of match speed with their fitness, and we've got 3 points. It doesn't get any better than that. Honestly, in terms of managing everyone and managing the scenarios and the situations that are playing out, this is like a proper, we've maximised. And Guiu's got minutes too, and some confidence. So let's break this down. Like I said, first off, I do feel like, you know, the build-up play was a little bit half-baked because only Santos was in the midfield. So the centre-backs are having a jolly up. They're having far too many touches on the ball. And I don't think that's for a lack of trying to progress. I think Tosin played some really good line-breaking, splitting passes in this game. He played one brilliant pass into Cucurella and literally split the whole Burnley team in half. Chalobah's always going to be a little bit lopsided, cutting on his right. That's an imbalance that we're going to have until Badiashile's starting week in, week out and stays fit. Hato's 19. I ain't surprised. James on the ball, you know what you're going to get, right side centre-back, right? We didn't really see a lot of the ball for Neto and for Gittens, especially against 35-year-old Carl Walker. I don't feel like that 1v1 was executed enough times. Most of the time, the play was going through the middle. So it's going through Enzo, it's going through João Pedro. I wanted Enzo to drop a bit deeper, get a lot more alongside Santos. It ended up being Cucurella and Vertin. We saw him a lot more. But João Pedro and Delap today, that's my disappointment. Those two in particular, and especially Delap, because I feel like Delap, he's working on a bit of a catch-up. We know João Pedro's been carrying a knock. We know João Pedro's been the only striker. We know João Pedro's had to play with 10 men and never have much service in some games. And he's not necessarily a 9. He's a 9.5. The manager says he can't get 15 to 20 goals. He hasn't got Palmer. The wingers are not consistent. He's not got good service or crossing accuracy and whatever you want to say. Delap, you're coming in on a red card and you're coming in off of foolishness. So the pressure's a little bit more ramped up now. We need to see something. I need to see you locked in. I need to see you focused on the football, not on the opposition players. The link up today and the hold up today was absolutely horrendous. Bar one play where he received it, spun, and laid it down the line, I think for Neto or whoever it was. That was his one good bit of hold-up play in the back end of the first half. The other parts of his hold-up play today were absolutely atrocious. Now, I'm not making any full-gone conclusions, judgments. You give him the whole season. He's 30 million. He's a squad player. I said this to you when he signed. He's a squad player. You shouldn't be relying upon Delap week in, week out. This is why I wanted another senior striker ahead of him. At least Jackson competing, because he's seasoned. He's seasoned at Chelsea, even though his finishing is diabolical. But you have to admit, the hold-up play that Jackson is bringing, plus the pressing ability that Jackson brings, Delap did not bring that. He did not bring good hold-up play. His touch was loose. He's given the ball away, and we could not play through him. And then he's offside as well. So Jackson was always offside. Delap's now offside. He's offside in plays that don't even make sense for him to be offside. I'm like, why is the flag gone up? We're literally doing build-up. This guy's offside. We already know about the bookings and the ill-discipline. All I'm saying is we have to be fair. We have to hold the energy. I'm not trying to draw this man out. I'm just being completely consistent. One man got 15 goals and 10 in the corresponding following season with no competition, had pure ill-discipline, pure poor finishing, and pure offside. And this man has come in, and really, we're going to wait, obviously, and you need to pick it up and fix up, and the rest of the season we'll see. But this is what I'm comparing you to. So I'm not really going to just brush it off as, oh, well, you know, he's only 30 million. He's young. No. We're going to be consistent here. Your performances need to improve in the coming weeks. You're not going to start, I don't think, against Barca. I think João Pedro will. I wouldn't be surprised if João Pedro started up front against Arsenal, because that's what we tend to do, pack the midfield against the big teams. But in the winter period, when it's Newcastle's, or it's Everton's, or it's Bournemouth's, or it's Leeds, I need better performances. He got one shot off from distance. He probably should have passed it. I think he got maybe one more of a shot off as well. The decision-making as well, even on the cutbacks, you're not getting the ball across the box quick enough. There was plenty of times out wide, he's made a good run, received the ball. Can you get it back across? You're not getting it across. Enzo's there on his own, or Gittens is there, or whatever. So not a good performance from Delap, not a good performance from João Pedro either, I don't think, in the 10 or in the 9. But those negatives aside, we had the wingers combine. Gittens and Neto. Gittens and Neto combined. Like I said, they didn't get loads of traffic, loads of touches. But I don't really necessarily think we need to get loads of touches through them anyway. Like I said, I was happy to go through the middle. But that cross from Gittens, after the one that went wayward, the quality on that cross is fantastic to see. That is the kind of quality we need. And Cucurella, credit to him, Cucurella was doing better hold-up play as a striker at times today. Running beyond the last man, holding the ball up, bringing it down, and then bringing it back for Gittens. And that's what he did a couple of times. And did it in this instance, cross, back post, great header from Neto. Neto is very good. Thought he got better as the game went on. The more he got involved, the better he got. He's also involved in the second goal because we've had a crazy bit of play, can we just say, by Sanchez and Gusto on the build-up. And then it finds Neto. He's spun a man. Fantastic play from him to get out of that tight spot. He's played a great ball down the line to Guiu, who's stretching the pitch, he's making the runs, and then on top of that, he could have easily said, I'm going to time waste. He could have easily said, I'm going to go to the corner flag with a few minutes left. Guiu, after pressing brilliantly as soon as he came on as well, and forcing Burnley into some mistakes, which again, we could have forced Burnley into more errors today if the press was stronger, because we can see Burnley's build-up play is not good. So we should have had a better counter-press. We saw with Santos with the counter-press, setting up Neto for the post. But the lap pressing wasn't really on point. Guiu comes on, pressing improves, and I think he's proved the point today. And you know me, I don't lie to you with what I think is going to happen to Guiu. I'll be real. You got your Kazakhstan striker scoring Champions League international debuts. You got your Amiga 3s coming in from Strasbourg's. You got all sorts of traffic and politics and price tags. One man costs 5 million. Politically, he ain't going to be at the top of the pecking order. However, if we're talking about the first man coming off the bench, Guiu, after that cameo, sub-appearance, has got to be pushing Delap to come off the bench in these next 2 games and come off the bench maybe before Delap, because he's shown in that cameo that he's got the strength and he's got the energy to press, and he's also now got the clarity to pick out Enzo Fernandez. And it's a great cutback and it's a great finish. And there was cutbacks, like I said, that Delap should have had today that he didn't have for Enzo Fernandez. And Enzo Fernandez is throwing his hands up. And João Pedro, he's going to play the 10 because Palmer's injured. But again, in the 9, he didn't really do too much. And there was moments where him and Neto wasn't really in sync for the pass, and it was under hit or underweighted and whatnot. Half time, again, them two are having a conversation. So all I'm saying is regardless of who you rate, you rank, I don't really give a shit about none of that. I am here to completely have meritocracy in my speech in terms of the striker situation. I've said it before with Pedro, if there's no playmaker with Palmer and the manager's coming out saying there's no 10 to 50, there's no 15 to 20 goals, the striker at Chelsea needs to be aiming for 15 to 20 goals. I'm sorry. If Jackson can get 15 goals in open play with no penalties, one of you man need to get 15 goals. If it's not going to be João Pedro, it will be Delap. If the shot volume's not there for João Pedro, it's got to be Delap. If it's not going to be Delap, you got to look at Guiu. And Guiu has had it kind of unlucky because he's either injured or he's fit and then everybody else is fit and he can't get the game time. But today, coming off the bench, rolling that defender, leaving him for dirt and leaving him eating grass and then setting up Enzo Fernandez was enough for me to see, to say, you know what? This is a lot more of an even playing field right now than it sounds in terms of the price tags or the reputation. So I'm very impressed by Guiu to come on and do that because we needed that. And I was crying out for someone to come and do that. Like I said, Enzo Fernandez gets his goal. Another bit of GA there for him. Some of his long ranges, weren't really hitting the mark, whatever. The competition is there in the midfield anyway. Like I said, I don't really ever have any qualms or queries or worries about the midfield. If everybody can actually stay fit behind these 3 midfielders, there's even more depth. So anyone who doesn't really hit the mark or whatever, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, because you just take them out. So yeah, the fact that the manager didn't bring on Caicedo is very ballsy. 5 minutes left before that second goal, he ain't bringing him on, ballsy. But like I said, we've perfectly prepped ourselves for the week. There's no Caicedo, struggles in terms of fitness. The guy's been fully rested for the weekend. Garnacho, I didn't even know he needed resting because he was actually at Cobham in London. He wasn't with Argentina from what I can see. He dyed his hair. That's probably as dramatic as it got for him over the break. He's well rested. He probably starts the next 2 games. I don't think Gittens had a cross, he had an assist, but I think Garnacho's going to start, to be honest. And, James is rested 45 minutes. Badiashile, match speed 45 minutes. Guys, Esteval rested. This is perfect. And like I said, the rivals, they were gathering, they were in their droves. Reece James goes off. Oh, he's injured again. He's smiling. He's laughing in your face. He's fine, yeah? Esteval, he's rested for the Yamal battle. 1v1, let's go. Headline act. It's a very good day. Caicedo well rested, ready for the battle with Declan Rice in a week's time. We all know the narratives. We all know the subplots. Now everybody can enjoy their hate watches and enjoy and eat and whatever happens, happens. So brilliant result. Perfect start to the weekend. There's pros, there's cons, but the main thing is we won. And the main thing is we rested and we looked after certain players. And the manager, in my opinion, minutes-wise, got the minutes pretty much spot on. Only thing I didn't want to see again is probably Gusto left side centre mid in the 8, because I just think that is just madness. I think that's madness. But maybe that's a rare situation where you're not going to play Caicedo, so you're just packing the midfield. But yeah, I don't want to see that again. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below, in the comments and the chats. And yeah, 3 points, 2-0, perfect, beautiful. We move, we love it, we live it. In a bit, people. Peace.